So here's a strange story told by John G. Lake of an experience he had during a prayer meeting. Our church was then enjoying a great period of spiritual blessing and power. Various remarkable manifestations of the Spirit commonly occurred. At a Sunday morning service before public prayer was offered, a member of the congregation arose and requested that those present join in prayer on behalf of his cousin in Wales that she might be healed. There's a problem. They were in Johannesburg. His cousin was 7,000 miles across the sea from Johannesburg. He stated that the woman was violently insane and an inmate of an asylum in Wales. I knelt on the platform to pray, and an unusual degree of the spirit of prayer came upon my soul, causing me to pray with fervor and power. The spirit of prayer fell upon the audience at the same time. The people ordinarily sat at their seats and bowed their heads while prayer was being offered. But on this occasion, 100 or more in different parts of the house knelt to pray with me. I was uttering the audible prayer. They were praying in silence. A great consciousness of the presence of God took possession of me. My spirit rose in a great consciousness of spiritual dominion, and I felt for the moment as if I were anointed by the Spirit of God to cast out demons. My inner or spiritual eyes opened. I could see in the spirit and observed that there was a shaft of seeming light, accompanied by moving power coming from many of those who were praying in the audience. As the prayer continued, these shafts of light from those who were praying increased in number. Each of them reached my soul, bringing an increasing impulse of spiritual power until I seemed well nigh overcome by it. While this was going on, I was uttering the words of prayer with great force and conscious spiritual power. Suddenly, I seemed out of my body, and to my surprise, observed that I was rapidly passing over the city of Kimberley, 300 miles from Johannesburg. I was next conscious of the city of Cape Town on the seacoast, 1,000 miles away. My next consciousness was of the island of St. Helena, where Napoleon had been banished, then the Cape Verde lighthouse on the coast of Spain. By this time, it seemed as if I were passing through the atmosphere, observing everything. I remember the passage along the coast of France, across the Bay of Biscay, into the hills of Wales. I had never been in Wales. It was a new country to me, and as I passed swiftly over its hills, I said to myself, these are like the hills of Wyoming along the North Dakota border. Suddenly, a village appeared in a deep valley among the hills. Next, I saw a public building that I recognized instinctively as the asylum. On the door, I observed an old-fashioned 16th century knocker. Its workmanship attracted my attention, and this thought flashed through my spirit that undoubtedly was made by one of the oldsmiths who manufactured armor. I was inside the institution without waiting for the doors to open, and present at the side of a cot on which lay a woman. Her wrists and ankles were strapped to the sides of a cot. Another strap had been passed over her legs above the knees and a second across her breast. These were to hold her down. She was wagging her head and muttering incoherently. I laid my hands upon her head and with great intensity commanded in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, that the demon spirit possessing her be cast out and that she be healed by the power of God. In a moment or two, I observed a change coming over her countenance. It softened and a look of intelligence appeared. Then her eyes opened and she smiled up in my face. I knew she was healed. I had no consciousness whatever of my return to South Africa. Instantly, I was aware that I was still kneeling in prayer, and I was conscious of all the surrounding environment of my church and the service. 3 weeks passed. Then my friend who had presented the prayer request for his cousin came to me with a letter from one of his relatives stating that an unusual thing had occurred. Their cousin, who had been confined for 7 years in the asylum in Wales, had suddenly become well. They had no explanation to offer. The doctor said it was one of those unaccountable things that sometimes occur. She was perfectly well and had returned home to her friends. If you're interested in hearing more stories about great men of God, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.